And welcome to the Black and Gold Banneret Women's Tennis Preview. I am Bryson Turner. With me is Eric Lopez. And joining us for our first spring sport preview is women's tennis head coach Bryan Koniecko. It's great to see you, coach.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me again.
So the news broke just that we're recording this on January 4th, and the news broke just this morning that you guys would be starting your season, dual match season, ranked in the top 25 at number 23. Just what was your reaction on the news there?
Something we'd obviously proud of and, have been able to kind of hold that top 25 ranking for, the last 4 or 5 seasons. And, obviously not easy to get there. And so proud of what the girls have been able to achieve this fall and to kind of stay in that mix. I don't think we're super content with that, but it's a good start for us. And obviously you have to do something right to be there. So the girls are doing what they're supposed to be doing, but we got high goals and hopefully try to keep going.
When you reflect on last year, you won 16 matches. You made the NCAAs again. Obviously, fell in the second round in Coral Gables. You were in the mix to host there. When you reflect on last year, what comes to your mind?
Last year it was kind of an interesting year. It was up and down. Sorry, guys. It was up and down in terms of, we've had, a little bit of a tough start in the beginning with injuries and stuff like that. And, we had to battle a couple matches with 5 players, but I can't speak enough on how our team responded to kind of early on in the year and being able to, come out being ranked 21 at the end of that year. We had Marie Mattel and Nandini Sharma really stepped up as our leaders of the team last year. And so good to have them back to kind of have that experience, but obviously we had some great highlights last year, beating Oklahoma State and Michigan and probably forgetting another good one, but
well, you beat Alabama in the opening round, which, trust me, a lot of Knight fans take notice of that one.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We had a nice NCAA tournament, obviously winning that one and losing into a tough one to Miami, but a lot to build on for sure. And excited to kind of try to do better this year.
Speaking of Sharma, she ended up going on that 13 match long winning streak, which ties her with her former teammate Valeria Zaleva for the second longest in program history. What's it like to have, I kind of called her all reliable last season because she just kept getting win after win after win. How would you say she's improved during the course of this fall season and off season? And what do you think we could expect from her this season?
Did you say Nandini just tied the record? Did you say?
Second.
She's in second right now?
She's tied with Valeria Zaleva for the second longest winning streak in singles play at 13.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, Nandini's been a rock for us for the last 4 seasons. I mean, she's just, it's not many times where you can really put a player out on the court and you're relying on that one very often. And, you have to deal with pressure very well to understand that you're the point that the coaches count on very often. And, she has an unbelievable mindset and mentality, not only as a tennis player, but just how she's developed as a person and, is able to, help her get through those moments. And it's why she's has so many wins. And there's no doubt in my mind, she's going to be put in a lot of tough situations this year. And we're going to have to lean heavily on Nandini and Maria again this year. And, but those are 2 players that can deal with that type of pressure. And that's why they're so valuable to UCF.
I want to ask you about the expectations because the expectations are so high in the pro because of the success that you've had. You've made 2 Sweet 16 rounds, the rankings, and it's really now across the board at UCF in women's sports. We're on a golden age of women's success right now, which I feel like you all started with your runs to the Sweet 16. Softball wins a regional, gets to a super regional for the first time. Volleyball and their success with the conference championships. Women's soccer just won a regular season title, finished in the top 25. Women's basketball conference title. What's that been like to be a part of that? I know you interact with all the other coaches, and I would imagine you all as the players feed off each other, student athletes as well. But you kind of started this incredible golden run here for women's sports, where now the standards are high. It's top 25. I mean, I haven't even mentioned Emily Marin in women's golf. Has had a great run too, making the tournament top 25 ranking.
Right. Yeah. Todd and volleyball. I mean, all of those. It's awesome. I mean, it makes you proud to be a small part of that, of what UCF has been able to do in the last 6 years. And obviously, like to think of, obviously just going into the Big 12 that try to help push the university along and, make our small little piece that we can, but it's for sure, it's motivating for our players to, want to support, volleyball and soccer and golf, and when they're doing well. And it motivates and fuels, I think, all of us, and it shows us that, hey, this is possible. I think if it was just one team doing it, you're like, are we, is this kind of a fluke year or not? But you see it every single year happening, and it's obviously you can recruit very well to UCF. We have unbelievable coaches, and it's possible to repeat the success year to year. And so we're just excited to try to do it again and match those teams what they did in the fall, because that was impressive.
Speaking of recruiting, you picked up three new freshmen: Grace Levelston, Stephanie Webb, and John Tilburger. I noticed that the latter, Johnson making her way around the professional scene with Sophia Biole and a bunch of others. Just talk about those recruits and what could we expect out of them this season?
Yeah, Yante comes in from Germany. A little bit older, has great experience playing on the WTA already. I think ranked, 730, 740 in the world. So she's played in a lot of meaningful matches in her lifetime. So she's going to come in with, kind of a little bit of that older mindset of somebody that we can kind of rely on right from the beginning, being, 21 years old. And, it's a little bit different when you're 18 or 17 coming into school, like Gracie and Steffi are coming in. And I think they're both 17, so a little bit different roles for them. Gracie coming in January, she's probably going to redshirt. She's going to redshirt this semester. But great opportunity for her to see what we do to try to make a, 5-10% jump this fall, spring semester. So she's ready, and, excited for Stephanie. She's actually on a flight over here right now. She should be landing in a few hours, but, it's going to be a great adjustment for her coming from Australia, and we're going to have to do a good job of getting her ready for a season coming up. But Steffi's got also incredible talent, has some great wins under her belt, and there's no doubt she's going to help the program right away.
Well, she's certainly coming off of a really good fall 2022 season where she took home the Australian Junior National Championship title there. How big is that for her momentum coming into this season?
Yeah, great win. It's never easy to win a tournament, especially as you start getting older. It's harder and harder. You usually get more trophies when you're 12, 13 than when you're 18 and 17. So it's always hard to win a tournament. She did it at Melbourne Park, where the Australian Open is held. So definitely more meaningful to be able to play where the Grand Slam is played. And, that's going to give her confidence going into the season for sure.
So she's coming in now right before the season begins. I kind of flash back to last year's interview where you talked about how COVID didn't allow for Noelle and Sophia to get to you guys until right before the season started. To see how they've grown over the course of last season and now is honestly amazing. I noticed that Sophia and Noelle were kind of making the fall rounds around the ITF tournaments along with John as well. So tell me about what do you think about those players that have made those rounds through the professional tournaments in the fall, and what have they improved on, you think, and how do you think we'll be able to see them going into next season?
Yeah, I mean, Noelle and Sophia had a tough situation coming in, missing the fall, having to come in January and step right into it. Amazing to see how much they've grown in 12 months, not only as tennis players, but just understanding how to act, what it means to be part of a team, not being selfish, all of these things where we're just so proud with how much they've taken a jump to help the culture of UCF. Noelle's made a really big jump in her tennis game, Sophia as well. They've already had some great wins last year, and I think they're just a more complete player every single day. From January to May, they had some great results, but it varied day to day, and now we trust them a lot more to know exactly how they're going to come out and how they're going to act and compete. So they've been trending in the right way, and just excited for what they can do this spring.
You
You mentioned
mentioned that Anik Kattenberg was injured last season. I just wanted to see how her progress is coming along, and do you think we'll be able to see her in action this season?
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think Anik has, in the last, I would say, couple months has really, shown some positive maturity in terms of really stressing to get her tennis game better and, making sure that she's putting herself in the best position to, break our lineup. And then not only when she gets in the lineup to have a chance to compete. She had pretty bad luck last year. She played FIU and was I think 3 points away from clinching the match for us, and she broke her foot in the middle of the second set. So she had a really rough go there, and that put her out for some time. And she's been working hard this fall to kind of put herself back in. But I've seen a difference in the last 2 months of how Anik is approaching what she does day to day, academically and on the tennis court. So if she keeps going like this, there's no doubt that she's going to be able to help the Knights.
So last two people to mention on the roster, Marie and Jaleesa. We mentioned Marie a little bit ago, but Marie's now in her senior season. Jaleesa's a junior with these returners. How are they looking as far as their progress in the season? Marie was your only singles player in the NCAA regional championships. So what kind of a leadership role do you think she might take on the team now that Miss Levashova has graduated and who was her playing partner?
Yeah, great question. I mean, Marie has somebody is kind of like Nandini, who's been in so many big matches for us over the years. Marie has made a huge level jump from the last 6 months. She obviously was really good for us in the spring, and I think she's made another level jump in the fall, being ranked I think top 40 in the country right now. And has a real chance to make the NCAA tournament again. And she's somebody that we're going to rely on, but big time. She's been in so many big matches. She could teach the girls, what they need to be able to expect under pressure situations. So we're excited for Marie and Nandini to lead this team. I wouldn't pick anybody else to lead us this year, so I'm excited about that. And Jaleesa had some bad luck with some injuries last semester that probably didn't allow her to quite progress how she would like to progress. But she's worked hard to get herself back, try to be smart in limiting the fall this year so she can feel good for January. And but she's looking like she has a great mindset going into this year, and she's going to be a key piece for us and going to have to win some big matches for UCF to be successful as well.
Well, some of those big matches, of course, come in doubles play. And last season, Nandini and Sophia really seemed to click with each other, going 16-4. But your other big doubles pairing, Maria and Levashova, of course, Levashova is gone now. But you do have Jaleesa, Leslie, and Noelle, who kind of had some work with each other, going 6-5. So you do have that Sharma and Sophia pairing. But who else do you think we could see pair up in doubles play this season?
It's a great question. It's hard because we have Steffi coming in right now, so it's not, she's going to probably be a key piece to our doubles as well. So we're definitely going to spend the next 14 to 17 days mixing around and stuff like that. Noelle has made a big jump in her doubles play. I think she's made a 180 in terms of my trust level for her of how she can play doubles. Her and Marie have been playing really well together. That could be a potential duo. Sophia and Nandini obviously showed that they can do it well. They've always had really good chemistry and just had fun playing together on the court. But I really couldn't tell you, but I think it's going to be an interesting thing. But we have a system for doubles, and injuries happen and things happen, so we can't always rely on chemistry. We have to rely on the system that we teach, and hopefully that allows us to interchange players how we want.
When a player like Stephanie is playing like in a place like Melbourne, which I'm very envious, having been up there and obviously watched that court a lot every year at 2 or 3 in the morning, does that playing on other players that play in professional settings? What are some of the differences you notice in a player when they come back to you? Is it a more of an emotional difference, physical? I mean, what are some of the difference you can tell on a player when they've played maybe on a professional setting?
I think it's the more you put yourself in a position like that, the more you're you're able to adapt to different things, and a lot of players that we recruit, especially some of these Americans that we have coming in, they'll go to Europe for the first time to play, and it's pretty bad. Their level of play is pretty bad because it's the first time they've been there. They're not used to the culture, the food, and then they have to play tennis well, just like they do in their backyard. And they don't understand that, they think it's just a tennis court, but traveling around the world and putting yourself in these experiences in arenas and different countries, every time you do it, you come back a couple percent better. And so we just like that the players are playing pro tournaments, different events, different venues like that. So when they start to mature and they can adapt to different things a little bit better. It's easy when you play at home in your own tennis club every single day, and then you get thrown in Turkey or France to play, and you have to be used to different conditions.
Speaking of playing at home, I just saw on your schedule that the American Athletic Conference Championships is going to be hosted at the USTA National Campus from what I see on your schedule. And the USTA National Campus is slated to host the men's and women's tennis championships this season. So what's it like to kind of have that? Because if you're able to make it there, then your players won't have to go anywhere else to compete for, a national title or compete for conference glory. They're going to stay right here at home. How important is it for you to kind of have to bring the tennis world here to USTA?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously one of the best, if not the best, tennis facilities in the United States. So to be able to host the conference tournament here is awesome. Being the last year in the American and being able to host the American tournament here in front of our home crowd, that's a big bonus for us. I know when that opportunity comes, I think our team is going to be really excited to kind of learn the lessons that we've learned in the previous American championship and try to do better. And then, the quarterfinals for the NCAAs is here. So it's a long way to go before that. We really have to put in the work and to earn it to get there, but obviously we did it 2 years ago. It was amazing to play in front of the home crowd here. They no doubt helped us try to overcome Duke. It came down to, I think, a 4-hour match. It was an unbelievable environment, but we'll try to do everything we can to get back there because the experience for our players was amazing.
What is the future as far as hosting, as far as conference championships with the move to the Big 12? Could that be on the table as far as hosting the Big 12 championships? And, I'm sure the American obviously would still be interested in hosting championships there because let's be real, you have one of the great facilities in the sport, not just for college. I know there's been a lot of chatter of wondering if maybe professional events will be played there down the road in the future. So I'm kind of curious. And the NCAA obviously loves it. This is not the first time, as you mentioned, they're having it, and it won't be the last time. So I'm curious what the future holds with the move to the Big 12 as far as hosting.
Yeah, so we will be in the rotation of hosting in the Big 12. The next 2 years, I believe, are at Oklahoma State and Baylor because that is where the NCAA tournament will be as well for tennis for the next 2 years. So they will host the Big 12 as well leading up to the NCAA tournament. And then 2026 could be open back up for bidding. So, any time that the NCAA will be hosted here, we'll have a really good chance to host the Big 12. So that's going to help us a lot. The American will be interesting because being an American school, I would assume that somebody would like to be the home host, which obviously wouldn't be us anymore. So I don't know what the plans will be for that. But, Tulsa, SMU, a few schools there have some great facilities to host the American as well. But
so how much motivation is it with that hosting? Because you mentioned that USD is going to be hosting the quarterfinals. How big is that a motivator for your team this season? That if they manage to do well, that they will be able to play against the height of tennis competition at their home court.
Yeah, I think it's in the back of your mind, right? As a player, I think it's there. You want that support, that extra 2-3% to try to push you over the hump. The girls love playing on the home courts. They love having the fan support. So of course it's in the back of their mind. I think once the first ball is struck, I don't think that's in their mind anymore. I think it's how can we get this job done? But for sure, like before the match or even leading up to it, like it's exciting to be able to have the facility, to have that opportunity to host and to be able to use that to our advantage for sure.
Well, you've stacked up the schedule. I think you got like 9 teams ranked in the top 25 on your schedule. I think 3 top 10s. I mean, tell us a little bit about the schedule and the thinking behind your schedule. You always schedule tough, so I shouldn't be surprised. But it's just when you see the numbers, it's like, whoa, okay. So just tell us a little bit about that as far as your scheduling. And will that be adjusted at all once you move to the Big 12?
Yes. So, to answer your first question, I believe our players deserve the opportunity to see the highest level of college tennis. We recruit on that. That's part of it, of saying when you come here, you're going to be playing against the best. We're not going to shy away from that. We want that challenge. We want to see what we're capable of, and we want to see if we do happen to lose, how far off are we, and what do we have to do to get better. So we use that, of course, as a recruiting advantage. And then going into the Big 12, we're going to have a full conference schedule. So the first year, we're going to have 13 built-in matches because Oklahoma and Texas will still be in it. So we're going to have 13 matches. ITA kickoff weekend counts as 2. So that's 15 built-in matches already, and makes my life easier from a scheduling purpose, because now I've always had to schedule each and every single match, even including the American Conference. But life will be easier with the Big 12, not level wise, but in terms of scheduling.
Wow, that's pretty sad. Are you going to be talking to John and asking him, hey, what's a good place to eat at some of these Big 12 locations, since he's got all the experience in that league?
Yeah, I think he's a meat and potatoes guy. He'll probably tell me the good steak houses and all that stuff. So yeah, it'll be good. Like, he's obviously familiar with the facilities. I mean, I'm definitely going to use him for that experience too. But we're both excited to try to kind of flip over a new chapter. And obviously we have, both of us have, some goals for this year, and really try to have good seasons, and respect to the American Conference for really treating us well over the last few years. And I think, like, our championships and all of that stuff, they've done an incredible job to make our players feel special. So, like, we owe it to them to try to finish well and all of that stuff. But we definitely are excited for that new chapter. It's going to be so many different things for us, but it'll be pretty neat.
What's the biggest thing that you want to see your team get out of this season? Like, what's the biggest thing from now until either the beginning of the season or perhaps the end of the season you want to see this team improve on, or just get down?
We've been working a lot on just team unity, team chemistry a lot. Big focus for our fall semester. I'm super pleased with how far we've come, how closer we've grown as a unit. You can really tell that's something that's going to be continued to be talked about. Toughness of being able to respond to difficult situations, that's going to be talked about every single day. I think we're all making strides to do better in that in life. And, you're just going to get hit in the mouth with something every single day. And it could be tennis related, and it could be something off the court. And all those things affect how we play, how we think. And so we just talk a lot about that, because, our schedule is tough, but we're tough too. And we have equal talent. I don't really think that anyone on our schedule is not equal talent or very close. So it's going to come down to our toughness and our mindset for that day, and how we want to approach it, and how much we kind of want to fight for each other. That's going to be the difference of success. But again, I'm very confident with Marie and Nandini to relay that message to the team. They're 2 people that have been 2 points for us, 2.5 points really for the last 4 years that we can trust. And so their leadership will for sure help us, I think, get to that toughness point that we want to be at.
Awesome. Well, best of luck this season, Coach. We always appreciate our annual talks, and just can't wait to see how you guys do this season.
Yeah, look forward to having you guys out there. So appreciate it again.